Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. It feels like Karen has all the time in the world to do crazy things and mess up the lives of those around her, which is what our first story will be about. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Karen, the motorcycle marshal. This event happened a couple of hours ago on a local highway heading into Elizabethtown. Yes, Elizabethtown, Kentucky, the namesake of the Orlando Bloom movie. No, the city's nothing like what's in the movie. Shocking, I know. Anywho, the stars of this encounter are me, 30-year-old male on my motorcycle, and Karen, maybe mid-50s female in a Lexus sedan. Our tale begins on southerly summer afternoon on a 15-mile trip into town from my house. Nothing unusual for the majority of the ride, just a rather pleasant ride. As I get close to town, I decide my backside's getting rather toasty, as tends to happen when on the black leather saddle in the middle of the summer. To remedy this and prevent a case of swamp butt, I rise up off the seat and ride standing for a minute or so. Not long, I'm only going 55 miles per hour, the speed limit, so I think nothing of this. If you've never been on a bike, there's a number of reasons one would need to stand up. And it's not dangerous, even though it may look that way if you've never been on one. It's also perfectly legal. The only illegal thing would be to pick one leg up off the bike, take both hands off the grips, or pop a wheelie. None of which I'm willing to attempt. Roughly a quarter mile after I sit back into my seat, I come into the first light entering town and am accosted by a blaring horn right behind my right shoulder. I look over to see the bright red face, oversized sunglasses, and nasty attitude of the dreaded Karen, already with rage mode activated. Oh boy, here we go. Karen screaming, "I saw that! I saw what you were doing! That's illegal and highly dangerous! You can't be doing that! I got pictures of you standing up, your license plate, and your face. You apologize to me this second, or I'm calling the cops and you'll be getting arrested." Me, confused. Ma'am, that's not illegal. Even slightly. I would have... She cuts me off. "That's so illegal, my nephew's a cop. I know what is and isn't illegal." By this time, the light turns green and I resume my journey, only to realize she's tailgating me. Highly dangerous to do in general, much more so to a bike. She pulls next to me at the next light and resumes her tirade before we even come to a full stop. Karen, "That's reckless endangerment, improper operation of a motorcycle," not even a law, "and endangering other drivers. Stop trying to run from me and apologize." She added extra emphasis on the last part. "I'm not running. I'm just not going to block traffic to deal with your craziness." That would actually be something illegal. Light turns green and she was starting to reply. Unfortunately, she followed me to one more light, and it's the intersection for the two biggest streets in town, so it holds for an extra long time. Great. "I told you to stop running and apologize. Kids like you need to learn to be respectful and listen to your elders." I'm 30 but look 18 to 22-ish. I get mistaken for being a lot younger all the time. "I'm not telling you again. I'll call the cops and get you arrested. Apologize." As the light turns, I say, "Sorry that you're confused. Have fun with that phone call." I blew her a kiss as I stood up and took off left. She was stuck in the straight-ahead lane. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see her reaction, but I'm sure it wasn't pleasant to anyone unlucky enough to be in close proximity. Sorry, there's no real satisfying conclusion to this. Just how it goes sometimes. I would have loved to hear her explain to the police how she used her phone while driving to take pics of my butt when I stood up, since that is in fact dangerous and a ticketable offense. Way to go, Karen. And our second story. Okay, fine. Think this belongs here. Some years ago, before cell phones and the internet, I drove for a courier service attached to a well-known armored car company. However, all I ever carried were canceled checks, time cards, and other inter-office paperwork, so I did not get to carry a gun. I drove 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and averaged over 200 miles a day, making many stops. One of the stops was an under-construction nuclear power plant about 20 miles from nowhere. Even though it was still under construction and no uranium was on site, the place was still ringed with 6-foot-tall chain fence topped with barbed wire and armed guards and little houses at every gate. My company's contract was that I picked up the union workers' time cards on Monday, and on Friday, I brought back the union workers' paychecks. For the first month or so, I had no problems getting into the site. After all, I was dressed in a uniform with armored car company logo patches and driving a car painted with the same logo. Then came the day. On that Monday, I had no problem picking up the time cards. However, come Friday, I pulled up to the main gate as usual. What I assumed was a new guard came out of his shack and asked what I wanted. I told him I had a delivery for the site manager and could I pass. He said no. I told him I had the paychecks for the union workers and asked him to call the site manager. He refused and told me to leave. Having a number of other stops, I threw the package of checks on the passenger side floor and did what he ordered. I planned to return the checks that night with the other paperwork I sent to the main office on our private plane. I finished my work and went home. About 10 p.m., I got a call from the big boss at the main office. He wanted to know why I'd not delivered the checks, so I told him. He asked where the checks were. I'd forgotten to pack them in the return bag, so I told him they were still on the floor of the car. He asked if I could make the trip out to the site at that time, and I said sure, if I got paid. I was paid by the hour, and it'd be about an hour's drive out and back. I would have made the trip for free, as I love to drive, especially at night when the roads were empty and the company was paying for gas, but what the heck? He said okay. So because I kept the company car at my home, I got in and headed for the plant. I was met there by overall, big, main site manager, and he thanked me for the extra tip and said if I ever had another problem, I was to have the guard call him direct as he gave me his private number. Found out on Monday just how big the problem with the checks could have been from another boss I was talking to at the main office. All the workers on site were union, plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, carpenters, etc., and made big bucks. They had in their contract that if they didn't get paid by midnight on Friday night, they got double-hour bonuses the next week. Essentially an extra week's pay. I handed the checks to the manager just before 12, so technically the workers got their pay on time. And our last story. Karen goes berserk on my neighbor and gets fined. So a bit of backstory. I live in a small town in Romania in which the majority of people live in flats. Those flats have 4 apartments per floor, and the doors are all stuck in an area of 3 meters by 2 meters. And now the story. I went out for groceries and I just parked my car. I enter in the stair house and suddenly hear screaming. I rush upstairs to see what that was all about, and right at my door I see my neighbor with her kids and a woman I've never seen before. Me. What happened? Neighbor. This lady cuts her off. Finally, someone! This lady threatened me and tried to attack me when I exposed her. Me. What do you mean? She thinks she can go and steal things from other people. I mean, just look at her. I know what she meant. She was thinking that my neighbor came in to steal from the apartments because she is Roma. Me. I understand what you're saying, lady, but she lives here on the 4th floor. Neighbor. Please, can I go? I need to make lunch for my kids. Karen. Shut up, you effing gypsy. I know you don't live here. I know everyone from this flat. I don't even know who she is. And for certain, I know you don't live here. Me. Lady, please don't talk like that. We can talk like civil people. What is wrong with you? How can you let such a lying bee manipulate you? She must be using spells on you. At this point, I start losing it. This lady lives here along with her 3 daughters. You don't even live here. What are you trying to do? A daughter. Mommy, I need to go to the bathroom. And go upstairs, dear. No, she's not going anywhere. That's it. I'm calling the police. Me. There's no need. Shut up. We couldn't get through with her, so we just let her dial the police. I can't wait for you to get arrested. After 5 minutes, the police arrive and 2 police officers enter the stair house. Finally, sir, I demand you arrest this woman. She's trying to break through into apartments and she tried to attack me when I exposed her. Ma'am, is this true? N. Sir, I live here on the 4th floor. I'm a single mother and need to go to take care of my daughters. You have proof that the apartment is yours? I have the key. She goes to her door and tests the key. Meanwhile, police officer 2 stayed with me and Kay at the door. The police officer starts asking me questions about the event since I'm a witness. Me. Sir, this lady's lying. She tries to get my neighbor in trouble because she is gypsy. Police officer 2. Cuts him off as well. No, she tried to assault me. She's a insert Roma gypsy racist slur and put a spell on this young man. I know it. When the police officer 2 hears her say that word, he seems to get a bit mad, but he couldn't do anything yet. Lady, please stop. Shut up. You don't even know how this works. Me. No, it's not. You talk like you know her from a daily basis. She literally did nothing to you. She assaulted me. Me. No, she... Police officer 1 came back after he heard the commotion. That's enough. She indeed lives here. She has all the paperwork. It must be forged. Stop it. It's quite clear that you have something against this lady for no reason. We ask you to leave. You dirty pigs, I'm reporting you. She's controlling you. Ma'am, please leave or we'll fine you. No. Then with absolutely no hesitation, the police officer takes out a ticket book and gives her a ticket for public disturbance and trespassing. It's like 200 lei, like 40 euros. This is the first warning, ma'am. If you don't comply, we'll just arrest you. After she hears about arrest, she suddenly softens her tone. She was still mad, though. She left without saying a word. The police officers thanked me and wished me a good day. Yeah, what a good day. Dude, I'm sure the lady put a spell on you and is manipulating you to post this. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.